Hello, good afternoon. Let's see, let's talk Tunisian. We do have a size chart. I've had a few people ask about the size chart because a lot of people are saying the stitches are coming out a lot taller. And in that, we shared a video. I did not make this one, but I think that it's the best overall video that I've found that explains crochet types and styles, and it talks about, she has an example of 3 different swatches, and in those 3 swatches, one is like a medium size, one's really tall, and one's really short. And I think you can get a better example of it in single crochet as it works up. I know that a lot of people that I've recommended the video to, I tell them to do their swatch in single crochet and in Tunisian, because you're definitely going to see the difference. But I think over 10 stitches or 15 stitches, the single crochet, it's definitely more evident what type of crocheter you are. There is a rider, and that pretty much rides, you lift your hook to the height of the stitches and you ride right across your row. And then there's the yanker, and they're always yanking their yarn down in the back to tighten it up, which drops your yarn down. Hello Tammy, hello Melissa. What is there? The yanker, the rider, and the lifter. The lifter lifts up so you get really tall stitches. And I think that a lot of people in Tunisian are lifters. I see a lot of people state that even with the J hook that their stitches are extremely tall. I think I'm pretty fortunate. I've always been a rider, so I usually get a pretty good gauge. Unfortunately, I don't always get the same gauge as designers. And I found this video because I was working on a pattern, and no matter what I did, I was not matching gauge. And when I watched this video, it really helped me to learn about the particular designer, that she was a lifter, so she was really lifting her hook up. So I really had to pay attention and felt like I was working really loose. As far as other questions, we've had the picture that I put under the last video, which is the little the 2 circles, and it shows what broken lines are and what they're not. I find that very helpful. A lot of people sorry, I'm getting a call in. A lot of people are talking about designers and which is good and which is bad. I've bought from several designers. I've gotten some good and I've got some bad. Regardless of what designer I work with, I still look over my graphs. Angela did a great example of what broken lines will give you. She had a phrase, I think it was mischief managed. And with the broken lines, it really shows through. And I found that extremely helpful for using for an example. What else was we talking about? How to read a graph. A lot of people have asked about how to read a graph. When you read the graph, if you do not have the written, you are always going to read the graph right to left if you are right-handed. If you are left-handed, you are going to read the graph left from right, or left to right. And if you have written and you're right-handed, you're going to read the wrong side rows backwards if it's written for single crochet or half double crochet, because there is a wrong side, obviously, but we are not flipping our work and working on the wrong side. When it comes to being left-handed, you are going to work the right side rows backwards and then work the wrong side rows correctly, because you're reading from the graph from the left to the right. Melissa, it depends on the stitches. I'm using TKS, Tunisian knit stitch, and Tunisian purl stitch are 2 examples. Tunisian knit stitch, I'm a lifter, and Tunisian purl stitch, I ride the work. I find a lot of times with, especially the Tunisian purl stitch, the gauge is much different, which is why when we refer to doing, incorporating your border, hello Valerie Richards, when you incorporate your border, I always use a hook size smaller to add my honeycomb border to the bottom. I noticed that on the sides it really doesn't matter as much, and then when I get back to the top I do remember to go to the smaller hook, because the Tunisian purl stitch, by pulling that yarn forward, it really stretches the width out. And I've had not only polls, but I've also had several hundred students work on the Tunisian knit stitch and Tunisian purl stitch, and a lot of the samplers that we do, you can really see the difference in when you incorporate the different stitches, which is why I know we've done the polls in here and several people state, I don't do swatches, I don't do swatches. I think once you know the stitch, you don't really need to do a swatch. You pretty much have an idea of what size hook and what yarn works together and what your personal gauge is. And I have a notebook with all of mine marked down in. But I think it's important, even if you just swatch 10 rows of whatever you're going to use as a border, and then 10 rows of the Tunisian simple stitch or whatever you're going to use for your design, because it's very definite. You'll definitely see in the swatch which ones are wider, which ones are a squattier stitch, what stitches work, which stitches work well together. There are some stitches that, you know, when originally I made a swatch of the Tunisian knit stitch and then I used the honeycomb above it, you could definitely tell the two stitches, they really, you know, the bottom, the Tunisian knit stitch was a tighter square swatch, and then once I got to the honeycomb border, my swatch was definitely wider, and it did not look appropriate, so I had to go down several hook sizes to do that, to get it to match up, which a lot of times when I do the Tunisian knit stitch, there's other borders that I like to use with that. I've even just done the pearl border with the Tunisian knit stitch, and even that, like I said, the Tunisian knit stitch is a little wide, or Tunisian purl stitch is a little bit wide. Do we have any questions out there that I could possibly answer? I am supposed to be getting some videos done this next week, and I'm really going to try at them. Unfortunately, I pulled my back out, so the pain medication and muscle relaxers have had me down for the count, and usually I'm not down this long, so my doctor's thinking an MRI may be something we need to look at now. So chin up, chest out, I'll get it. But hi Mary Bailey, nice to see you. So we went over how to read a graph. Like I said, what to look for in the graph is the broken lines. Hi Beverly, it's nice to see you too. I think one of the important things is, and I don't like to talk bad about designers, so we're going to leave names out, but there is a very popular group going around, and they have some fantastic corner-to-corner designs, but I've seen that they are doing the single crochet directions with their corner-to-corner graphs that they offer. I did go in on a post or two and ask if they are doubling the count for their single crochet stitches. I'm waiting on a response. If they're not, they are one of the groups that have a lot of broken lines, which works fantastic with a cluster stitch. And by a cluster stitch, I mean these will work fantastic for a block stitch, or for the waffle stitch, or corner to corner, the mini corner to corner. All of those cluster stitches. A bobble stitch would work great with that too. Unfortunately, with a single crochet Tunisian knit stitch, even a half double crochet, the stitches are so thin that you can really see when you have them broken lines, even when you step away from them. It doesn't give the overall look that I think is the cleanest that we're all trying to achieve. We are working with some great designers, the Crochet Graph Lobby. We work with them very closely. They're the ones that design our cows, and I'm hoping to get a video on the cowl that we're currently doing. Hi, Angela. And there's a lot of tails. This is I did mark down that this would be a intermediate one. I did the foundation row, the chain, and then did my first row. I did a purl row, and then trying to add all the bobbins. And since there's only 1 or 2 stitches, this is what Angela and I were talking about, you can't really carry that yarn, because since you're adding a stitch every 2 stitches, you can't work over and under and then, you know, work with the next yarn 2 or 3 stitches over. It gets too bulky and it gets too thick. And I think this is a perfect example of why, as a pillow, this is going to have an insert. I am very anal, I guess, about weaving in tails and doing the cleanest work possible. Since this is going to be a pillow, when I am adding my bobbin, I am just doing a small knot at the bottom. The only thing is, when you do the small knot, I'm not tying them very tightly, because if you make a mistake and you have to frog this, a lot of people do not have the patience to mess with knots or yarn barf or any of that. As soon as they see it, they're ready to say, oh no, I'm done with this project. So even though I'm doing a square knot, I'm doing mine loose enough that when I am working, it doesn't pull the tail through. But it's catching enough that I don't have a long strand, because a lot of times that's why, you know, when you add a bobbin and you work your way across, you'll look down several rows below and you'll see where you added that bobbin. You'll end up with a Tunisian simple stitch that looks almost 1.5 times the length that it should be on your pattern. And you know, when I first started doing Tunisian, I was like, oh no, what did I do wrong, you know? But once I went back in and I realized that that was the tail, and once you weave it in, it tightens that up and it's pristine. And I've had another member message me about my color change method. It does take a little bit of practice. It's I offered this only as an alternative. When I started crocheting blankets, I would go to fairs and things, and I had a lot of people asking me, how did you achieve this look? I didn't like the dotted line that I got around my project by locking bobbins in. My bobbins are always twisted. You look like you don't have that problem. And so I decided I would show what I did. And, you know, after I showed what I did as a moderator in a group, and, you know, added my videos a few places and did all that, I seemed to get a lot of followers, and you know, I then was gifted this group. And today is our anniversary. We've been together, me and Angela and all of us have been together now for a whole year, and it's fantastic. I am really proud. A lot of the members have told me what a great group they think this is, how it's nurturing, how they like the one-on-one, and I'm very proud of that. I did this because I wanted to learn how to teach. I know a lot of people in the beginning were like, you should make a DVD of this and you should charge. People would pay for this. Yeah, they would. I think that a lot of money goes into our craft of crocheting, and I have thought about opening a closed group that I could do more one-on-one in, and I think that would be nice, just to make a few dollars. I don't want to become rich. I just want to teach, and I would still have this group as well, and teaching the same methods in here. It would just be a little more one-on-one. I think that a lot of the members don't realize how much time this takes. First thing in the morning when I get it on my phone, I usually have members messaging me asking for help, and so, you know, I'm doing that. I still do the video chats live for members that are really having problems as well, and that's why I do like having the weekends off. My fiance, that's the only time he comes in, and so I do get to see him for 36 to 48 hours, but that's on the weekend. I've loved seeing all the beautiful works and the things that people have done. Just, you know, I make a little video and they make magic out of it. It's fantastic seeing what everybody's done. Hi, Jasmine. Do we have any questions that I could answer, that I could help with? There is going to be a video coming up. A lot of people are doing the blocks. There's a lot of block cows going on, and some people are doing them in Tunisian, and they're really struggling with how to get a border on afterwards. So I will be playing around with there's two methods. There's one that you can use that's the 10 stitch. There's a 10 stitch Tunisian blanket, and you basically start that. But hold on 1 minute there, guys. Draven!
Yeah, Mom.
Call your brother and ask him what he wanted.
Oh, my brother?
Yes, I'm live, so.
Okay.
But the 10 stitch I kind of like because you're joining to your blanket, and it's got the interlock to it, but you're working across the bottom this way, and then when you get to your side you're working this way, so all of your stitches don't really go the same direction. Now with the honeycomb it doesn't really matter as much because the you really can't tell the difference in yes, Melissa, you gotta love the kids, but you really can't tell the difference so much. But when you start with the 10 stitch, it leaves a line at the corner, so if you have your block here, you get a line, and then you're working your way around, and then you have like mitered corners, but when you get to this edge you have a panel that comes down, and I think that's one of the popular ways of doing it. I seem to like all my stitches to go the same way, so a lot of times I cast on across my bottom and work just the width that I have, because I found that if you start your border first, a lot of people, when you join the blocks using an interlock method and you're picking up the stitches from the border you've already made, a lot of people when you're working across using the interlock method, they're missing stitches, or they're gaining a stitch. So when you get to the end of this border you've already made and it's perfect, your blocks have not lined up correctly for whatever reason. And so I found that was a bit difficult. So a lot of times after I've got my blocks, I do take them, and when I'm doing my pattern, I either interlock them together, or I will use the mattress stitch that I have a video for. I find the mattress stitch is my favorite because it doesn't matter what color yarn you use to join your blocks together. If you take your time and execute it, when you're done, you cannot see that joining yarn at all. So I think that's the cleanest method that I really liked. And so when I'm done and I've got all my blocks all joined together, then a lot of times I will take mine, and I have a garment steamer, and I use that, and I love that, and I straighten it out, I lay it on the bed and I flatten it out, and I garment steam it so that it's pretty square. And then for my border, I pick up the stitches across the bottom with the new whatever border color I want to use, and I do just the width, and then I do just the top. And then for the side, I have an increasing video where I just go into the bottom right or left hand corner, whichever one I'm doing. Usually I start in the bottom right because I'm right-handed, and then I chain however many, and then you work your stitch, and then you join into that stitch with an entrelac stitch, with the entrelac to join them together. And I don't get those divots that I've seen a lot of people get. I do like this method because all of the stitches are going the same direction. I'm very funny about that. I don't know if it's because I took drafting or I'm just that way. But I do like that method the best. You can do mitered corners. There was a video that I was watching, and she was doing something using those, and the thing about that was I noticed when I tried to do the miter corners, I was doing pretty much like short rows or adding out. When I got to my final side, I needed to either join with an entrelac as I made it, or I needed to go in and whip stitch the final corner together. So I need to play around with that a little bit more. As far as the knit stitch, I should be doing a video tutorial on that pretty soon as well. I've had a bunch of people ask for like cables and things like that. I may get into that later on. I'm not sure. Most of what we do here, why I got into teaching, was because of Graphghans. I've seen so many different things not work. You know, people have taken patterns and they don't gauge, they don't understand sizing, and I think that it's important to do that before you end up with like a great big project that turns out something that you want large comes out extremely small, or something that you want small comes 10 foot. I've seen a lot of people use the single crochet patterns corner to corner, and then they come out like 13 foot wide. And if you would have gauged in the beginning, then, you know, I did make that mistake in the beginning. I tried a small, I think the pattern was 65 by 40, and I was using Bernat blanket yarn and an N hook, and decided I was going to use the bubble stitch, and it worked out great. It's extremely heavy. I make the weighted blankets, and that works perfect for it. It's a lot of work because Bernat is extremely heavy as you get working on this. So usually if I do orders for them, I only take them in the winter because they are heavy like a rug. They're that heavy. As far as some of the other, I will be doing a video or two of some new borders that I thought would look great. And I've been playing around with the Tunisian reverse stitch even more lately. I think that gives a more reversible stitch onto a lot of patterns, and that's why I like the color change method that we use here, because it's never going to be mirror. I have a lot of people, it's not mirror. It's never going to be exactly mirror, but it's pretty close. It's the closest thing I've found, and I think that you can definitely tell the front from the back if you are a crocheter. A lot of people have looked at the back of some of my Tunisian Graphghans and been like, oh, this is fantastic, and they feel them and they're looking at them, and when they flip it over they're like, oh, the back side's even better. And I have to point out that this is the front side, and you know, I think that I really like this color change method. I think that it needs a little bit of work for people to practice it. It's a stitch that you have to get tension down. I almost felt like when I was teaching this that I was teaching people to crochet all over again, because it's something it's much different. But do we have any questions or anything I can help anybody out with today? Because I'm not going to be on here very long today. I'm going to go pick up my hubby. He's come home early because he needed a break, and he feels bad that I am on my back and cannot do too much of anything for myself right now, which is fantastic. He's fantastic. I can't say enough about him and how much he does for me. So, any questions, anybody? Hello, Karen. No questions? I am going to be going to, I'm going to try to go live on Wednesdays at 4. That time seems to work well. I might be setting up a go live another day in the week that's a little bit later, so that people that do work can possibly get on. Our live videos will be left up so that everybody has an opportunity to watch them, so they'll be left up for a while. And all the way from Sweden, hello. Wow, I do get out around the country, I suppose. Anytime, if anybody has any questions, I really, I know joining a new group, a lot of people feel like, oh, I'm asking a dumb question. I know that this has been asked before, or something along those lines. It's really important to me that all of you understand that this group was started to teach. There's no stupid questions. There's none. I don't care if I've answered it 1,000 times. I will answer it again. My goal with this group was, if I could teach 10 people, then I would be thrilled to death. And I never imagined that I would have over 5,000 people in less than a year. I never imagined that. I do love teaching. I do love being patient and talking to people and doing the video chats and doing what I can. And I think no matter what you do in life, you're always going to have, somebody that wants something and it's not done fast enough, or you can't get back to them fast enough, or, I think you're always going to have that. But my mentality is just to push forward and to do the best I can to help you all the best I can. I like teaching. I love the camaraderie with the people. It's a beautiful outlet for me. I do have physical classes where I teach. I do, we've talked about hooks in here. I've had several different people ask me about hooks and what's my favorite and why, and I do have 2 videos on them. To me, again, I think the Knitter's Pride set is amazing. It comes with everything that you're going to need. The hooks are a nice length. They're lightweight. I've not had one break, and I even have students using and trying my hooks. There's a pattern that I would really like to find time to sit down with. I'm sure we all have a few that we'd like to sit down with, but thank you, Bobby. I'm glad we're at our anniversary. It's nice that we have so many people here. So recently I bought a set of the Denise, and they're the double-ended hooks, and they come in a beautiful case, and they were so nice to open up. To get the length of the cables that I'm gonna need, I had to order the cables separately, the longer cables, and I think that's kind of unfortunate because the Knitter's Pride has that. And the hooks, they're only 5 3/4 inch long, so I found a lot of difficulty getting used to holding them. So I went back to the Knitter's Pride and I just bought another set because they're interchangeable. You can connect one hook to each side. There's a project that I would like to start, and it's in the round, and I think it's the main pattern for it is on Ravelry. It's called the Death Flake, and I think it's awesome. You really can't. It's kind of like a snowflake with a skull in the center. It's a beautiful design. You know, from a distance and up close, you can see the detail in it, and I think it's fantastic. Another lady that's in our group, her name's Debbie, I can't remember what her last name is, she decided to do the Death Star, and she did it in the round with black and white, and it came out fantastic. And she has a blog on it, and I haven't really seen her do much since with it, but I know that there's another designer that's currently working some projects in the round as well, and her projects are coming out fantastic. So I hope mine will too. I might be doing a little frogging. But hi Geraldine. So if there's any questions, please ask. Even if it's under here, I try to answer everything that I can. And if you ask something and I've not answered it, tag me. And for those that don't know how to tag, a lot of times if you type the sign @ and then type my name, it'll bring me up, and then you just click on my picture and it'll tag me that way. My settings are very open just because of the group. I sometimes can't tag members because their settings are so closed, but mine are all open. Pretty much everything I have is public. So there is a video in the albums that says what videos people would like to see made. I will be getting on that too. Life kind of got in the way for a little while, but I will be building on that and getting all of that done. And like I said, if you guys have any questions, any comments, you need help with anything, please post in the group. I will gladly help you. Angela's great at helping find things and posting things too. She's been an incredible asset. I could not have asked for a better partner. She's everything I could have asked for and more. She stays behind the scenes, but she's fantastic. Is there a video for in the round? There is not. I don't have one, Mary. There is a lady that I purchased her video, and she's doing what is she teaching? She's teaching a special color change, and you use it with the round, and I found her video extremely helpful. Let me see. You'd think I was prepared for this question. I was not, but I know where my stuff is. I know this is backwards, but this is Lily Chin 2-color Tunisian crochet in the round. I found this video for like 20 bucks, I believe. This crochet in the round video, I have purchased a couple things, books and videos, and some of them not worth the money that I spent. Other ones, yes. This video, it's reversible. The way that she's using the stitches, and it's fantastic. There's so much knowledge in there that I've probably watched this video 15-20 times, and I still am watching the video. It's been a fantastic investment, and you know, I get nothing for promoting anybody or the Knitter's Pride, folks. This is all just me and Angela and the mods and our time. But that video, it was well worth it. I think if you invest in it, Mary, you're going to absolutely love it. There's a few people that are starting to work within the round and special stitches that are reversible and stuff. And ultimately there is one person I'm thinking about reaching out to speak with about their methods. And I think that that may work out to be a fantastic partnership as well. Their teaching methods are very nice. They're very calm, and I think that they have very much potential, and I enjoy watching them. So I will be reaching out to them and seeing, you know, what they think and inviting them into the group. And so I'm excited about that. But they pretty much, all they do is teach Tunisian as well. There's no selling, and that's what kind of why I like this group as much as I do. I find that a lot of other teaching groups, they're based on selling, and there's so much posting of buy this and oh this pattern and that pattern, and you know, I would like to design one day. I really would. I would like to find the time and a decent computer and learn what I need to learn and design. I don't want to learn to design to really promote myself. I think if I did do something along those lines, that, you know, I would just put a link to whatever store I had or whatever, because like I said, I do like doing all of this. I enjoy it, and I have a mind and an eye for detail, I think. I do think that there's so much that I need to learn still, and I think that with everybody there is. So if there's no questions, then it was nice talking to all of you and seeing you all. I hope you have a fantastic evening, and feel free to ask any questions you have, any videos you'd like to see, and I will get on them as soon as I can. Unfortunately, I'm down with my back right now, which is making things very difficult, but I will persevere and get through it all. Melissa, I honestly left a few groups because they started pushing and designing to sell. Yes, there's a lot of groups that I've seen, a lot of groups that say I'm a teaching group, I'm this, I'm that, and they do have a lot of selling going on. I think it's one thing to promote the cowl that you're doing, or that you do custom things, and to promote the people that are designing for you. But I do see that a couple of the groups lately, hi Ashley, happy birthday, they're just, there's no more teaching going on. It's getting lost in all of the ads that you see. And I think that's kind of unfortunate, and I would, you know, that's why I like this group as a teaching group. I don't ever want to see overrun of promoting and selling. It's just, it's not for me. I think that a lot of people do need to promote their groups to make a little bit extra money, and it is nice, and I'm not opposed to, if I find a way, or if I design or whatever, that I won't have a link or whatever. But I don't think it's not going to be hey, I made 5 new graphs and in your face. No, I don't like that. But then again, that's just me. But like I said, y'all need anything, shout. I'm always around to teach, to help, to do whatever I can to help the Tunisian crochet community. And I know we have special days just for the single crochet and for your hobbies. And Angela has a great single crochet video as well that shows color changes that's done differently, and I really like this method. I have tried it. I do really like it because there's a few videos that you're working around the strand that you're pulling up, and you're dropping bobbins to different sides, and I like her method because I do only drop my bobbins to the wrong side, and it's clean so that I can take pictures for people as I'm working on them for customers. So that's here as well. We don't promote a lot of the single crochet stuff only because there's so many regular crochet groups. As far as Tunisian groups, there's not that many that teach, that are learning, that have that. So like I said, I'm getting messages. This is going on. Excuse me. But like I said, please ask any questions you have. I'm more than happy to help. Don't be shy. We've all been to a place where we're starting and just learning and have had the same questions. And if you can't find, some people were saying finding the videos is a little difficult. If you search my name in the group, you can go to the top of the main page and type in my name and then type in videos. They should come up that way as well. And if you're looking for one in particular, type in the words that you may be looking for, like 1 or 2 stitch collar change, and it'll bring that video up. Thank you, ladies, gentlemen. Have a great day. I'm off.